the final game. This is the final game of the divisional round. It is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills. What a game this is going to be. The number 2 seed Bills welcoming the number 3 Kansas City Chiefs. This is Mahomes' first road playoff game, excluding Super Bowls. This is going to be a game for the ages. The Bills favored by -2.5 points. Mahomes so far, you look at his playoff numbers, they're insane. They're tremendous. I think he has 13 playoff wins. If he gets this, he ties Brett Favre and by the way, Brett Favre had a long career. Mahomes in year 5, year 6, and he's already going to match Brett Favre in playoff wins. It's incredible what Mahomes has done. I want to know, do you think Mahomes will maintain his playoff dominance over the Bills and go up 3-0 against Josh Allen in the playoffs?
I don't. I think the Bills are going to find a way to win. And I think a lot of it has to do with what you just said. Mahomes' first road playoff game. And it's in Buffalo, and that crowd helps the Bills for sure.
Big time.
I mean, you looked at last week's game. They had to go in and shovel out their seats.
Yeah.
You couldn't even see the seats. There was so much snow in the stadium. And they had to stand the whole game because you couldn't sit down. Those fans are rabid, man. They're really behind their team, and I think it helps the Bills. And I think that's going to affect Mahomes. His first road playoff game, I'm afraid it's going to be a loss.
So what's the score you got?
I have 28-24 Bills.
So I'm going to just say this up front. I agree with you. I do think the Bills are going to win, and my score, if we're going to go with, is 21-17. I think the Bills are going to win this game. But maybe not as for a reason that you're thinking. I think it has to go back to what exactly I just talked about when it comes to the Packers 49ers. Let's bring up the numbers, the playoff comparison in the head-to-head matchup between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is 2-0, 75% completion percentage, 351.5 yards passing yards per game, 8.6 yards in attempts, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, a passer rating of 125.2. And Josh Allen, 64% completion percentage, drastic difference there, 11 points. Passing yards per game, 308, so it's like 50, nearly 50 below Mahomes. 7.2 yards per attempt, 1.4 below Mahomes. 6 touchdowns, 1 pick, same amount of touchdowns, 1 more interception, and a passer rating of 104.8. So if you just cover one player and just look at the other player's stats, really good. You do the same thing on the other side, still really good. Now you take it way back, it's like, oh man, Mahomes is whooping him, absolutely whooping him. And so in this case, I am going with the Bills to win here because I think we need to talk about the redemption stories that happen so far this season. I think this is going to be another one of those redemption arcs. And I think a lot resides on this when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. Because if Josh Allen loses again to Mahomes, and this time at Orchard Park, in your own house, you welcome Mahomes, and you still find a way to lose. I think we could now talk about, A, if the Chiefs are in the playoffs, your Super Bowl window is shut, and B, Josh Allen will never beat Mahomes in the playoffs. Because if you can't, when the Chiefs have had the worst receiving core they've had since Mahomes got there, Travis Kelce not being the Travis Kelce we've seen, no real receiver having a significant impact, Rashee Rice you could say maybe, but he's not at the level of any one of the superstar receivers you see in the NFL, definitely not what Tyreek Hill could do. The offensive line, you have the 2 tackles, Jawan Taylor and Donovan Smith, who have been pretty bad this season. Your defense, which has been good early on, but we saw the last time they played against the Bills, early on, Josh Allen's moving the ball up and down the field with them. If you can't beat the Chiefs, especially this Chiefs team, I don't think you could beat them ever in the playoffs. You already beat them in the regular season. Now, does that redemption arc carry over since you already beat them in the regular season? I'm going to say no. I think when it comes to the playoffs, that's where another redemption is going to hit. You're 0-2 if you're the Bills against Mahomes. You played him twice in Arrowhead. You had that, and we thought we were ripping on Josh Allen on the show, or not Josh Allen, but the play calling and that 13-second end to that game.
Oh, yeah.
13 seconds, you're playing bracket coverage. The Chiefs had all their timeouts, and you let them just run up and down the field.
Well, this is the redemption game for the Bills, so they got to win this game. And if they don't, do you think McDermott's fired?
I think there's a serious conversation about it. I don't know if you're going to do it, but I think there is a serious conversation about it. And not only that, this may be the most consistent Bills offense we've seen. Because look at earlier in the year, up, down, up, down, up, down. You lost to Mac Jones during this season of Mac Jones. it was an up and down season all year.
Maybe Bill Belichick ought to hold off a little bit on his Falcons
He's not going to
decision to wait and see what happens in that Bills game. If McDermott got fired, could be the one they pick.
The Bills have won 7 of the last 8. I think if you're the Bills, you got to go with them. I just think this Chiefs team it's not a Super Bowl team.
I don't know. The defense is good enough.
I don't think so.
The wide receivers have played better lately. The Rice has done very well.
Right.
And Kelsey, this is his could be his last game. He's going to retire at the end of the season. He said he's already said he's going to retire.
Really? Travis Kelce said he's going to retire at the end of the season.
That's what I heard.
I saw Andy Reid might retire too.
Yeah, well, just confirm that. Just put that in there. I heard that he said he was going to retire. This is it.
I'll keep looking at it, but Jason Kelce is going to retire.
Jason Kelce's going to retire.
Yeah, Jason Kelce. What I see is Travis Kelce shuts down retirement talk and fed up player for no reason to stop playing football. I think that's a little bit BS because he said earlier this year he's feeling
every one of his
injuries.
10 surgeries he's feeling it. Yeah. So he's denied it, huh?
Yeah. Well,
okay. Well, I'm glad because I like Travis Kelce a lot. I like watching him play. He plays with a lot of fire. I like seeing Taylor Swift in the stands there rooting for him.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's a little bit overblown.
Yeah, I like
every 5 minutes you see Travis Kelce if the Chiefs are on offense. I think
the Chiefs, Andy Reid retires, man. That will be tough for them.
I think so as well. And supposedly the rumor is that Matt Nagy would be the first option to replace him. And if that's the case, the Chiefs are not going to do well because we saw without Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy is the OC. That this Chiefs offense, it's ugly. It's really ugly. But in this game, I think the Bills are riding high right now at a perfect time. They are not as inconsistent as they were over the course of the Bills' tenure so far with Josh Allen, and especially earlier in this year where they were win, loss, loss, win, loss. No, at this point, you've won 7 of 8. You've beat some really good teams in the process. The Chiefs, the Cowboys. You beat the Dolphins. I would say that you're in a perfect position to go up against the Chiefs and win.
Yeah.
However, that being said, it's Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I'm terrified at this point. I am going to pick the Bills though.
Yeah.
I
think a key factor in this game is Allen not getting too overhyped.
Right.
When that happens, man, he makes mistakes.
Big time.
He turns the ball over, interceptions, fumbles. He's got to keep his head. Don't get too overhyped.
Yeah. And I think a key for them would be is to limit Isaiah Pacheco, not let him have so many dominant runs and gain the first downs, and in part, maintain that running game. They had a tremendously balanced game against the Steelers. 189 passing yards with 179 rushing yards. That is probably one of the most even games the Bills have had all season. I think you need to bring that as well. You need to bring a balanced game. Let James Cook run free, let him pick up some great yards, and let Josh Allen just throw it to the open guy. I fully expect an interception or two. Fully expect.
Well, they got to establish the run on the Bills so they can use the play action.
I think Josh Allen, I don't know if this is true, but he needs to not. He can't have the PTSD of the 13 seconds again. You can't let that get to him.
Yeah.
Because we saw, last year, the Bills in the playoffs, they nearly lost to Skylar Thompson, who is still the Dolphins' third-string quarterback, and they got smoked by the Bengals. You can't let that get to you.
Yeah. Well, they also have to be calm in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's been Allen's nemesis, too. He throws interceptions, throws the ball into the end zone, and it's intercepted.
Correct.
That happened to him a couple of times in a recent game against the Dolphins, actually. They found they were lucky to win that game, 21-14. Well,
last year he did lead the league in red zone interceptions.
Yeah.
So if you can minimize the mistakes there, this Bills team is first on third down. So that's big. They're keeping their opponent's defense on the field, and they're moving the chains. You got to keep this ball moving. Now there's some injuries that you got to look out for. Tyler Rapp, their starting safety, he's going to be out for this game. I think that's big. Gabe Davis, who had a 4-touchdown game in that 13-second loss, he's going to be out for this game. So you're not going to have him to score 4 touchdowns. However, you do have a brand new tight end named Dalton Kincaid, who had a pretty good year this year. You also still have Dawson Knox, who's been a pretty good tight end for you. James Cook has now emerged as a pretty good running back. It's the first 1,000-yard running back you've had in a decent while. So this actually, besides the Packers 49ers one, because I do think there'll be a blowout, or I'm sorry, not blowout, an upset. This is probably the game I don't feel great about picking the winner of, even though it's a favorite.
Yeah.
So for me, I have.
You felt more comfortable picking the Packers to upset the 49ers than you did the Bills to beat the Chiefs.
No. I would say this is probably the second one I'm most uncomfortable about, because the Packers one, I just think there has to be an upset somewhere.
I think there is going to be. There's definitely going to be an upset.
It could be Chiefs Bills. It could be Chiefs Bills. It's the lowest point spread of the weekend.
3 upsets in the last week's games.
Yeah.
So there's likely going to be at least one this week. So I think you're right. It's likely the Packers 49ers upset.
Why can't it be? I think Chiefs Bills is probably it's the lowest point spread.
Yeah, to me that's not really an upset. I'd say see the 2.5 points negative point spread there. Chiefs against Bills. I see them evenly matched.
Okay, really so you say if the Chiefs win, this won't be an upset. And based on the playoff history, you'd be right.
Would people think it's an upset if the Chiefs beat the Bills? I don't think so.
Technically, if you look at the points,
I think the upsets are if the Texans beat the Ravens and the Packers beat the 49ers. Those would be real upsets.
What about Bucks Lions?
I don't know. I think a lot of people think the Lions sometimes, and I felt this, maybe they're not quite for real. And their head coach can gamble too much.
That's
and their quarterback, I like him a lot. He's had some games where he had some turnovers. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.